Hello everyone, Courtney here. Today, we will talk about the importance of movement, failing fast, and changing your perspective while you learn how to become a serial inventor and hone in on your future success. Welcome to episode number 7. Let's get into it.
Where inventing, passion, and hard work intersect. Welcome to the Serial Inventing Podcast. Bite-sized, perspective-altering episodes on serial inventing and beyond. From motivating key tips on product licensing to obstacle-busting conversations on transitioning to a full-time serial product developer. Buckle your seatbelt, because you're in for a ride. Warning, this podcast may motivate you to make wild decisions that will propel you forward in your inventing career and hijack more of your time for your passion. If you aren't ready to make it happen, then this podcast isn't for you.
I would like to start out this episode with a quote often attributed to Taylor Swift. You have to write 100 songs before you write the first good one. Now, this can be translated across many industries, but of course, we are talking about inventing. Learning how to license an idea takes time. My students at InventRight know that I like to compare this to riding a bike. Some people come into the program thinking the horn of the bike is the most important because it is the loudest part. Or the brakes are, because they can save your life. Some people think riding a motorbike is the same as riding a road bike. Some people don't know if they really want to ride the bike, but want to learn about it. And some just want to skip the process and think hopping on a motorbike and competing in the Tour de France is the best way to go, not even considering that they would get disqualified competing with a motorbike. You see, when we use metaphors and compare it to the licensing process, the waters become very clear that you need to learn the process and its order to have the highest chance of success. The InventRight 10-step process is a process for a reason. It wasn't randomly created. But without comparing it to other things you have done before, it becomes this masked monster that you think is completely different than anything you have ever done. And that's just not true. So, why does our prefrontal cortex in our brain get disengaged with licensing and not other things we have done before? Is it due to our preconceived thoughts we come in with? Or the assumption that the process is too rigid to be individualized? Or maybe we are too excited and are just impatient and want to get our products out there as fast as possible, irrelevant of the chances of its success or higher chances of failing if we botch the process. Emotions and the natural chemicals in our body run fast, but rational thought and critical thinking can take a bit of time and can be easily overshadowed by the quick emotions. It's almost like we are reacting to our new product ideas versus responding. I'm not quite sure, but being aware of this happening will help you move towards serialship and re-engaging that reasoning in your brain as you start every new idea you have. Success takes time. By going through the product development steps again and again, you will get better. But it doesn't happen overnight. It happens by improving 1% of the process every day, slowly. And that's not what we want to hear, but usually the truth is just that. If becoming a professional serial product developer didn't take persistence, diligence, perseverance, and grit, then everyone would already be one. This may be one reason why our industry started out as us being called crazy inventors. Because we would always wear our product on our sleeve. Without a process, unprofessionally. We are still trying to get away from that label, and that happens by putting your growth and education first, 1% at a time. You want your first song you ever make to be a hit. Who wouldn't want that? But in reality, it's often many songs after that you hit it big. Now, some get lucky, some have connections, some have innate talent, and some grew up with more tools in their toolbox to prepare them better. But for most of us, it takes time. And this is where you really need to be patient with yourself and fail as fast and often as you can. If you learned how to drive in a Porsche and damaged it so badly while learning that when you took it to the car shows, it was unrecognizable to the people at the show, what's the point? Why start out with what you think your absolute best idea is, when if you learn the process with it and fail as fast and often as possible with it, make a bad sell sheet, use bad scripts, pitch maybe even to the wrong companies, the only thing you really end up damaging is your reputation in the licensing industry, your product's chance of success, and a lot of time and energy wasted on a product that could have been a success. When you are taking your first 10 ideas through the process, one at a time, as you continue to get better and learn from it yourself, it's important to remember the key to this: movement. It's so easy when you are learning it to stall in various steps. For example, many people get stuck making a prototype, especially those who don't have a coach, don't know the 10-step process, or are fighting the process. Now, some products do really benefit from a prototype, but for others, it isn't necessary. Remember that movement is key. You are still learning. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it won't be. If the prototype is taking too long, make a virtual prototype or virtual Frankenstein it, which is a process I came up with and use where you Photoshop images together using Google Slides. If something is taking longer than a month to complete, it is taking too long, even if you're doing it to learn the process. To become a professional inventor, you have to become a novice one first. Installing or staring at an obstacle sans movement won't get you anywhere. To be able to fail again and again, you have to move. Think, plan, act. Many inventors get caught in analysis paralysis. Thinking and planning is great, but just like a patent is completely irrelevant if you don't act and get the product to market, or at least attempt to. As we become serial inventors, constantly overthinking and making yourself the obstacle to your product's success needs to be one of the first things to go. Yes, product development shouldn't be taken lightly, but if you are a serial inventor, you must keep moving. You can't get caught up. Nothing will ever be perfect. It's hard when you first start out because we tend to overcomplicate it all, not knowing which steps should have more emphasis and more time spent on it. But when you change your perspective into thinking these first 10 ideas for a serial inventor are mere art projects over competitions, we put far less weight on ourselves and start to thankfully lose that performance anxiety and fear of both failure and success. And it all becomes a smooth and fun process. One of my absolute favorite quotes by Thomas Edison goes like this: "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." So keep moving forward, keep failing, keep learning. Because by the time you get good at product licensing, the world will know your name. What is one tiny step you will take today to become a better product developer. Thanks for tuning in and taking a few bites with me today. And remember, serial inventors don't make excuses, they make it happen. See you soon.